Hi everyone! In this video I'm going to show you two other ways of getting paid. So we've already looked at wages, that was skill 8. So now we're into skill 9, which is getting paid for piecework, which means getting paid for each individual thing that you do, or getting paid a commission, which is getting a percentage of your sales generally. So let's jump right in. We'll do a few piecework examples first. First one, someone is selling bouquets of flowers, and they get $5 for each bouquet of flowers that they sell. So first of all, that is a unit rate. That means that they're getting $5 per one bouquet. Let's use, I guess, B for bouquets. And so we can set up a proportion for this. And they sold 20 bouquets. So all we need to do is match our bouquets to our bouquets with 20, put our unknown up top, and cross multiply and divide in the usual way. And so these are essentially, piecework is essentially just a type of unit rate question, where the unit rate is how much you are paid for each unit that you do. And in this case, $5 per bouquet for 20 bouquets is a total of $100. All right, let's try another one. Greg works as a tree planter during the summer, and he earns his income through piecework. He's paid $2.50 for each seedling he sells, or he plants. So that is $2.50 per one. I really don't like S as a variable because S looks like a 5. So I'm going to do T for trees. Okay, so $2.50 per tree, and he plants 45 trees. So how much does he get paid? Guess what? We're going to cross multiply and divide. Everyone's favorite skill. So multiply those two, divide by the thing out here. Dividing by 1 doesn't matter. That's usually the case with unit rate questions. This gives us that y is 112.5. Now, of course, this is money, so we want to turn that into 112.50. Right? You always want 2 cents or 2 decimal places for money. Right down to the penny. Okay, let's try one more. This one is, there's 2 different rates, so let's go through carefully. Patricia works in the garment industry. She's paid $1.50 for each hem, and she's paid $2.25 for each waistband. How much does she earn by hemming 12 dresses and attaching 15 waistbands? So this is the same thing, except we've got 2 different rates. We've got one rate for hems, and we've got one rate for waistbands. So let's just do this the exact same thing, just in 2 parts. $1.50 for one hem, and she hems 12. So her hem pay, let's do X and Y, I guess. So this will be X, cross multiply and divide. And for hems, she earns a total of $18. Now let's do the exact same thing for waistbands. So $2.25 for one waistband is how much for, 15 waistbands. So how much for 15 waistbands? So now let's cross multiply and divide as usual. And 15 times 225 is 33.75. So it's her total. Well, her total is going to be her hems plus her waistbands. And her waistbands is 33.75. And that gives us her total pay. And add those 2 together, and you get 51.75. So that's piecework. Piecework is a slice of cake. All right. How to use proportions to solve for commissions. Okay, so the idea of a commission is that it's a percent that someone makes for each item that they sell. And one of the ways to solve it is by setting up a proportion. So let's do a simple example first. Tom earns 3% on selling a $1,000 TV. Now, this 3%, recall that percent literally means per 100. So 3 per 100 then is our fraction. So 3% is 3 per 100. Now on our right hand side, this top numbers are unknown. That's how much they are getting paid as commission. And this number underneath here is the total sales, right? Because 100 is the total percent, and this 3 is the commission percent. Right, so that means that our top numbers are both commissions and our bottom numbers are both total numbers. In this case, total percentage, in this case, total sales. And our total sale in this case is $1,000. So we cross multiply and divide, and we get that X is $30. Not bad for selling, one TV. All right, so let's move on to a slightly trickier example. Ming works in a store that sells antique furniture. Ming works on a commission rate of 6.5% of his gross sales. So that means just the total that he sells. If he sells $9,865 worth of furniture, how much commission does he earn? So 6.5 per means divided by, cent means 100. And then this is a total sales. So total goes underneath, right? Underneath with our total percent. So these are both going to be totals. And our total is 9,865. And our unknown is, I guess we'll do X again. So X is, if you plug it into a calculator, 641.225, right, after you cross multiply and divide. But this is money. So we need to round that correctly to the nearest cent. So do we get to keep 22 cents? Nope. Because this is a 5, you need to round it up to $641.23. Okay, this next one I like. It's a little bit tricky. Often real estate contracts are actually structured like this, by the way. So when selling a home, a real estate agent earns a 2% commission on the first $250,000 of the home's selling price and 5% on any amount over that. How much will Sue make if she sells a house worth $375,900? So let's figure this out. The 2% commission is on the $250,000. So let's just set that up. 2% on the $250,000. So let's call that C, I guess, because it's a commission. So you cross multiply and divide, and you get C is $5,000. Okay, now this next piece we need to do a little bit of work for. They sell the house for $375,900, but they only pay that commission on however much they are over $250K. So the difference is $375,900 minus $250,000 is $125,900. Okay, so the idea is this they're already paid for. Right? That's in the $5,000 here. It's only this that they still need to be paid for. Okay, so we still need to calculate this part. And this part, this $125,900, they earn a higher rate. They earn 5% on. So let's call that D, I guess. So then D is $6,295. So now all we need to do is take these two numbers, add them together, and your total is then $11,295. All right, now let's try to see if we can work backwards. In this case, I'm going to tell you how much they've earned and how much they sold, and we're going to try to figure out the rate of commission. So not too scary, we just have a different unknown in our proportion. In this case, our rate is unknown. So our rate per 100 we don't know, but we know how much they get paid, and their pay is their commission. So this is the commission rate, right? The commission percent, and this is the commission dollars over here. So this commission, how much they earn for their commission is $6.86. And the numbers underneath, of course, are total. So the total percent is always 100. And this, in this case, the total is the total dollars, which is the sale amount. And so that's $95.95. So in this case, we are going to cross multiply this way. So 686 times 100 divided by 95.95 gives us R equals 7.1495 and so on. And just sort of looking at this, the natural place to round this is probably right here, right? Because since that's a 9, it's actually really close to 7.15%. If you rounded that at 7.1, though, that would be okay. Okay, let's try one more. So same two numbers. You could pause this and try it at home. But here is the question if you want to see the solution or if you just tried it and you want the answer. So our rate, we don't know. Our 592 goes up top. Our 12,589 goes underneath. And when we cross multiply and divide and round correctly, you get a rate of 4.7%. Cool. So last two questions, these are sort of more interesting questions for pay. This is essentially what contractors do. You take various pieces, you put them all together, and all these different pieces, these different amounts of money, combine to how much you end up getting paid for a contract. So let's go through and try this one. Gurpreet is figuring out what he should charge for repairing the steps on a client's house. The cost of materials will be $785.96. And he will have to hire 2 workers for 8 hours each at a rate of $16.85 per hour. He also wants to earn at least $450 for himself. What should he charge the client in the contract? So the big idea here is we're going to have 3 separate numbers. We're going to have our materials. The materials is just a straight $785.96. Right? He just has to pay for those materials. He's also going to have some sort of payroll. We'll figure that out in a second. The payroll, by the way, is just like how much money they pay in wages. And we're going to figure that out based on this worker's hours and rate in a sec. But this last piece, this $450 he wants to earn to himself, that's his profit. And the profit he's going to need to add at the end as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to add all of those together to get the total bid, right? This is how much he's going to tell a client it's going to cost. It's going to cost for materials. It's going to cost for the money he wants to earn on it. Plus, he's going to have to figure out his payroll. So let's figure out the payroll piece now. So there are 2 workers that each work 8-hour days. So let's figure out our total hours. So 2 workers times 8 hours is 16 hours total. And the wages that they pay is $16.85 per 1 hour. And so between the 2 workers, they need to work a total of 16 hours, or Gurpreet rather needs to pay for a total of 16 hours of labor. And so then his payroll we can get by cross multiplying and dividing these 2 numbers. So Gurpreet's payroll, if you cross multiply and divide correctly, is $269.6, but since it's money, we'll put an extra 0 to make it 60 cents. So what should he bid? Just add those up. The total bid should be $1,505.56. So probably $1,500 he'd quote, or if he's being a little bit more conservative. Maybe he'd bid 1,600 or something, make it a nice round number for the client. But if you add those numbers up, you get 1,505.56. Okay, one more example and then we're done. Tian has 3 employees working for her. Okay, 3 employees. Each employee is paid the minimum wage of $15 an hour for an 8-hour day. They're also paid a commission of 12% on all sales they make. The 3 employees made sales of $785.96, $452.87, and $616.42. How much must Tian pay in total for the day? Well, let's just figure this out the exact same way. So her payroll is going to be 3 workers times 8 hours is 24 hours total. The wages she pays is 15 per 1 hour, and she's paying for a total of 24 hours. So when we cross multiply and divide, well, divide by 1 doesn't matter, but when we cross multiply, we get that her total payroll is $360 even. Now for the commission, the long way would be to solve each of those 3 commission questions separately. But we don't have to. It's just asking for her total. So let's just turn this into a total sales by adding those 3 together. And if you add those 3 together, it's 1855.25. So now let's set up our rate with our 12%. So 12 per 100 on the total of 1855.25 gives our total, commission pay. Let's make that a C. Her total commission pay is $222.63. No rounding needed. So let's just add those 2 numbers together. We'll take her payroll plus her commission. So add those 2 together, and you get a total of $582.63 she pays her 3 employees. All right, and now you've got some practice problems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Question 9 originally was a typo, by the way. So if you like, you can use this question 9 if you want a bonus question. And go ahead and check your answers on the Moodle. Hope you have a good one.